I think this might be the first time that I do an After the Buzz when the succeeding product is revealed, but there's a reason. This is the iPhone 12 Pro Max, 2020's best iPhone if you were to judge the numbers, and what marked my return to Apple's larger variant. See, I've never been a fan of the company's approach to phablets because they're mostly just bloated iPhones. The only other time I did was the 7 Plus, and because it was a better phone than the regular. The XS Max and the 11 Pro Max were all just larger size options. iPhones have always been more of a social media crutch to my primary Android phone, so if there is no added value, the extra size is just unnecessary. This 12 Pro Max, though, was a different animal, at least in paper. It brought a larger camera sensor and in-body image stabilization, worthy perks for a creator like me to consider. It's been with me almost everywhere for the past year, and during that period of time, let's just say that I have a couple of mixed feelings about my investment, which only make me debate which 13 series to get. I'm Jaime Rivera with Pocketnow, and let's dive into my After the Buzz. I think the best way to sum up expectations for this video is to call out the fact that I never completed this review. You'll find my videos for the 12 Pro, 12, and 12 Mini, but the reason why I skipped the 12 Pro Max is because the more I used it, the more I realized it was only marginally better at the things that I really cared about. But I was so enthusiastic at the time that I actually picked it in silver as my favorite color, as honestly the Pacific Blue was not as elegant in my opinion. At a glance, you could assume that it aged well, but flat and glossy stainless steel is clearly not a good idea. Get up close and be ready for a ton of micro scratches. It's as if I deliberately scrubbed the bottom of this phone, which is not an issue with its less expensive aluminum siblings. The last time Apple used flat stainless steel was on the iPhone 4s, and its matte finish allowed you to even use a soap scrub to polish it. My advice is to pick a darker color with the 13 series, as they're technically the same finish. That said, the frosted glass back remains intact, and so is the screen, proving that ceramic shield is really that good. This is actually the phone with the least amount of micro scratches on the display that I've used in a long time, but the oleophobic coating wore off regardless. Now, as for MagSafe, I say you should care about the charger puck, because no other one of that size can charge any phone faster. I definitely did ignore Apple's wallet accessories after all the horror stories of people losing their valuables, but I would recommend you consider Moff's Snap-on stand and wallet instead, as I've used it for a year, which pretty much guarantees that if I didn't lose it in all that time, it's pretty good, and it includes a kickstand. Now, this Pro Display Xdr is another example of where I'm mixed. On a positive front, its flat approach and the great contrast ratio make it one of the most immersive experiences you can get on a phone. Its dual-firing speakers definitely don't disappoint either. Any sort of distortion. The aluminum actually seems to control. If all you've been is an iPhone user, it's great, but also very 2019. Definitely the 120Hz coming to the iPhone 13 Pros is where this phone falls short. High refresh rate has been a staple of Android phones for at least 3 years. The other is the notch getting in the way. I know it's getting smaller with the next generation, but is it really functional while needing to wear a mask in 2021? I would have seriously preferred a fingerprint scanner on the power button like the iPad Air, because even the use of the Apple Watch to unlock your phone with your face covered is not always reliable. Now, one thing that did age well is iOS 14. It took Apple way too long to launch widgets or an app tray, but I have to say their reputation of late but better remains. I do prefer the visual consistency, which can be hit or miss on Android, and elements like Smart Stacks became invaluable for me to keep my home screen minimalistic and still useful. Maybe the only thing I was expecting was more widget adoption over time. As it stands, I have nowhere near the 179 apps I have installed, and I expect no judgment on that number. Thank you. Still, even with the lack of high refresh rate, this user interface remains snappy. I can't say I deal with such a thing as app crashes, and the visual uniformity of apps is something Android should seriously consider. What I can't praise iOS 4 is its disservice to this large canvas. It's seriously pointless for you to get a larger screen if the grid of icons is just stretched out. There's no multi-window support, there's no support for any sort of Apple Pencil input. Picture-in-picture video was a nice promise that under-delivered in support. Again, it's the reason why I debate a larger iPhone if the canvas is underutilized. Now, one thing that didn't age well is the battery. Larger iPhones have always had reputations for more than a day of use, but I can barely end the day with mine. Battery health has also degraded faster than ever at 89%, which makes me wonder if the optimized charging has been good enough. Now, I can't say it's the 5G because I don't get any better results with LTE. I can't say it's overheating or lag because the A14 Bionic has definitely lived up to its performance reputation. Now, as for the only thing you can pick when buying an iPhone, I decided to go 256 gigs of storage just because I use it as a quick video camera at times, and that aged well. I'd even say standard users are fine with 128 gigs. If anything, I noticed that the added storage only makes me hoard more stuff. Now, the main reason for the bump in capacity is because I've used iPhones as my secondary video cameras for years. I'm seriously not sure what voodoo Apple uses in their video codec, but ever since the iPhone 4, this collection of cameras can prove to be more versatile than even a standard mirrorless camera for quick secondary shots. Most people don't even know that at least a third of my AirPods Max review was filmed with this 12 Pro Max, and that's as I paired it with the Sony a7S III that I'm using to do this A-roll. I'm not saying it's comparable, but so long as you have enough light, it'll sometimes adapt to harsher scenarios better, like on the inside of an airplane, because it doesn't depend on filters, ISO compensation, or other camera tricks to meter adequately for what you're touching. That in-body stabilization also proved to be a godsend during quick walking shots of whatever other product I was reviewing. Now, I can't say that feature served in helping me get better photos. After trying all 4 iPhones, I did notice that this 12 Pro Max was slightly faster at taking a photo, but it wasn't necessarily a better shot. Regardless if you use the ultra-wide or standard lens that was dramatically larger than the other iPhones, I did some comparison shots even with the regular 12, and well, I can't say that the 12 Pro Max produced $400 worth of better photos. Whether during the day or at night, the Pro Max was just faster. And sure, the added speed can make a difference in reliability, with some shots having some minor elements that have them stand apart. But again, notice I say minor. To conclude, I have to say that there's a part of me that's happy that the 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max are just different in their size. A year of phablet use left me with enough decolorized pockets in my jeans, pinky finger strain, and one-handed nightmares, which only makes me debate if it was all worth it. Even if there were differences in both Pros and the spec sheet, the results weren't really what I would have considered substantial. I know for a lot of you, using a larger iPhone is useful. I know for some of you it's a status symbol. Sadly, I come from the time of the Galaxy Note, where the added canvas has to serve a purpose, and honestly, I feel that the 12 Pro Max didn't really live up to those expectations. And listen, I'm not saying it's a bad phone, but it's really hard to justify its price at a time when a device like the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 is better in so many ways and costs a lot less money. Expect a comparison once the 13 Pro Max arrives in stores to make it fair. Obviously, as an Apple user, I don't blame you for sticking to the ecosystem, which is still second to none. That said, would I recommend that you look for a 12 Pro Max a year later with a discount? Not really. If iPhone is your jam, it might be a better idea to even get the regular 13 that sports the same primary camera as this Max, but with better optics, plus the same starting storage, or for you to get the regular Pro if you want the added boost for less money and less size. Let us know what you think about the iPhone 12 Pro Max after the buzz in the comments down below. And while you're at it, follow us on social media and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. You can also follow me on my personal handles to see me complain about phablets that could use the canvas a lot better. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.